Today's reading is The Joker from the Sexypedia Wiki. The Joker is a supervillain, one of the main antagonists of DC Comics and the archenemy of Batman. It's hard to pinpoint when exactly the Joker became a thirst trap for many, but it has not only existed for a long time, but it has become more prominent as time went, given how fans, writers, and the media romanticized the character, and how his influence inadvertently bled into Tumblr sexy men culture before it was even a thing. Twinkish man in a suit, villain, etc. Especially with how he fits more tropes than any other character on the wiki, he can be argued to be the proto-Tumblr sexy man. The fact that he's had different versions of himself suggested, and got on the wiki, should have been a telltale sign. His class is Tiamat. His aliases include Clown Prince of Crime, Harlequin of Hate, Ace of Knaves, Jester of Genocide, the Clown, the Jester, the Trickster, Grand Mogul of Mountebanks, Cousin Joker, King of Gotham City, Emperor Joker, Eric Border, Dr. J. Recco, Joseph Kerr, Joe Kerr, Jack, Jack White, John Doe, Oberon Sexton, the Domino Killer, the Gravedigger, the Thin White Duke, the Pale Man, the Red Hood One, Yellows, Mr. J. Puddin', Jack Napier, Mr. Joker, the Junkler, and William Liam Distel, and his source is DC Comics. Basic information. First introduced in Batman issue number 1 of spring 1940, he was originally a crime mastermind with a devious sense of humor. Initially intended to serve as a one-time appearance, Joker's instant popularity ensured that the character would continue to appear, becoming a frequent enemy of the Dark Knight and Robin, the Boy Wonder. By the late 1940s, Joker had been reimagined as a harmless prankster. Falling into obscurity by the 1960s, he was reintroduced in the 1970s as a more legitimate threat and one of the most infamous criminals within Gotham City. In recent years, the character has taken on the persona of an evil incarnate, simply taking joy in tormenting Batman or trying to push him into villainy. Widely considered Batman's arch-nemesis, the Joker has also been responsible for numerous tragedies in Batman's life, including the paralysis of Barbara Gordon and the death of Jason Todd, the second Robin. His characterization has changed over the years, with the most common incarnation being a criminal mastermind who commits crimes for his own entertainment. Joker is also considered one of DC Comics' most recognizable characters, with him also battling other heroes such as Superman and Wonder Woman. The character has also become an icon in popular culture, usually through his portrayals in various media related to Batman and other DC properties. Archetypes. Fourth wall blurring. Notorious for breaking the fourth wall in and out of comics, to the point where people have theorized he's aware that he's a comic book character, hence his insanity and careless, destructive actions. Angst. While he has had multiple backstories, the most popular and agreed upon backstory is the one we see in The Killing Joke, where he's a failed comedian who gave up his career working at a chemistry factory, and because he falls into some financial trouble, he agrees to lead a couple of mafia thugs through the factory in order to provide for his wife and unborn child. His family dies in an accident, but the thugs still force him to go through with the job, where they're soon spotted by security and shot to death. Batman shows up, believing the men who would be Joker to be Red Hood, since he's wearing the Red Hood costume. He proceeds to jump into the polluted water and swims to safety, then realizes that his skin is burning and proceeds to become insane. There's also some backstories where he was abused by his parents, and it being the root to how he became who he is today. Burton. Batman's more grittier runs, play into making Joker's design, fall into this to make him all the more creepy and terrifying. Also, several Batman movies directed by Tim Burton have him in it, which obviously fits this. Chaos Lord. The quintessential example of this trope. The Joker's only motivation is to be an agent of chaos and prove that morals in life are ultimately meaningless. Clown. His name, his appearance, his gimmicks, the fact that he is called the Clown Prince of Crime should all speak for itself. Complete monster. He is known for being extremely cruel and irredeemable, the atrocities he's committed being far too many to count. Con artist / traitor. Among his many crimes, he has been guilty of impersonation multiple times, as well as being notorious for being a master of disguise. Controversial. The very nature of his character and some of the atrocities he committed were bound to make him a splintering character. Arguably his most controversial act was when he crippled Barbara Gordon, Batgirl / Oracle, due to the nature of the act and topic of using women harmed or in danger as plot devices. Also in a recent comic, he became pregnant, which caused national uproar. Criminal. The clown prince of crime, and any crime you can think of, he's more than likely already done. Demonic. While arguably not an actual demon, he himself and many characters have referred to him as the devil himself multiple times. Dilf/MILF. While Joker's age is vague for the most part, he's usually depicted as being a couple of years older than Batman, who is a middle-aged man. The Joker has several times been portrayed as a hot older woman, Martha Wayne in the Flashpoint universe, and/or a lesbian, Bianca Steeplechase in the Thrill Killer universe. Distinctive laugh. It wouldn't be Joker if he didn't have his signature maniacal laugh. Distinctive voice. Has had a variety of actors and voice actors over the years, but if we were to only go off of just voices, Mark Hamill has been claimed by many to be the Joker. Dominating. The Joker loves being in control and tearing down everyone and everything around him, which unfortunately he succeeds in with flying colors. Whether it be his control and abuse over Harley, to the times he actually succeeds in pinning down Batman, either physically or psychologically, or whenever his grand-scale plans are in effect. There's a reason he's called the most dangerous man on the planet. Duality. There was a storyline that revealed there's 3 different versions of the Joker. The criminal, who's a grim criminal mastermind and the most serious of the 3. The clown, who's far more goofy and campy than the other 2. And the comedian, who is a mentally ill-filled stand-up comic similar to how he's depicted in The Killing Joke. Ensemble Dark Horse. He definitely doesn't qualify today, but he was originally going to be a one-off villain and was even killed off in his debut appearance. But he proved to be so popular that years later, they retconned that he survived and has since been reimagined as Batman's archenemy, and one of the most popular villains to ever exist. Flanderization. Over time, his actions have become almost exclusively focused on causing as much carnage and chaos as possible, or harassing Batman and his allies rather than performing non-lethal mischief or practical crime, like he did in his earlier years. LGBTQ plus coded / questionable LGBT rep / obsessive / rival. Joker's sexuality has always been a topic of debate. While he has shown attraction to women, he always uses them as a means to an end, the best example being Harley. Meanwhile, it's not hard to believe that he's in love with Batman, given the amount of flirting / admissions of love, from his end only, and homoeroticism in their relationship. It doesn't help that multiple writers have played into and teased at their relationship being a twisted romance. This is not even mentioning Joker's flamboyant personality, his tendency to cross-dress and putting on makeup, and how he has made passes, joking or not, at other men aside from Batman. Girl boss. Joker has canonically used girl power for evil, multiple times in fact. Grime. While he fits the criteria for the bloodshed he commits and gory nature of his crimes, his new 52 design, where he cuts off his own face and reattaches it during the time he became a full-blown slasher villain, is the most fitting example. Intelligence. The Joker's intellect is about on par with Batman, always being able to be one step ahead of him, and is notorious for being a chemist and criminal genius, who always manages to play things in his favor, no matter the odds. Knife murder. We'd be here all day if we tried to list all of the lives Joker has taken. The man commits wanton mass murder on the regular. Mad scientist. Joker is an expert chemist, and uses his knowledge of biochemistry and microbiology to create things such as his Joker toxin, which makes people laugh uncontrollably, among other things. Magnificent bastard. The sheer amount of competence and control he displays in anything he does, from his crimes to his manipulation of those around him, makes him a classic example of this in many of his appearances, though he is often simply too vile to count in others. Mysterious. Joker's origins and past records have always been left vague and left up to interpretation, hence his multiple backstories and storylines that toyed around with this, such as the 3 Joker run. One-Winged Angel. Became Emperor Joker, a near-omnipotent being at one point after tricking Mr. Mxyzptlk into donating 99.99% of his reality powers to him. Pale Twink. The Joker is always portrayed as a tall, skinny, sometimes to the point of looking skeletal, paper-white-skinned man, and while he is an older man, he has a lot of designs that make him a lot more youthful, to the point where he easily qualifies. Perpetual Smiler. His deranged smile is a staple of his character. Power. He already fits the uniform in such technical variety. There's some versions of him that actually have powers, such as when he granted himself regenerative abilities in the New 52. Quotable catchphrases. He has a multitude of quotes, before his most popular one, "All it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day." And of course, how could we forget, "You get what you fucking deserve." We live in a society. Tall. He stands at 6'5". Twisted freaking psychopath Questionable neurodivergent rep. The Joker is evidently a mentally ill man, but what he's actually classified as has always been a subject of debate. It's ranged from just calling him psychotic to calling him a high-functioning sociopath, either being bipolar, having antisocial personality disorder and/or borderline personality disorder, and many, many more. His whole character is a very notable example of how mental illnesses are villainized. Unkempt. He has more feral designs when he's portrayed in a more aggressive and gory light, such as his aforementioned New 52 design, fall under this. Villain. One of the most popular villains in pop culture, no less. Well-dressed / long coat / suit guy / glove guy. He always wears a dapper suit, which has ranged from blazers to tuxedos to long coats. He almost always wears gloves of some sort. Subverted tropes. Bait. Joker wasn't, and usually isn't, supposed to be an attractive man, especially in his earlier appearances. But as time went on, he began to receive more intentionally attractive designs to the point where many have joked that he has been yassified by modern artists. Fanon tropes. Johnlocked. It'd be a dishonor to not mention bat jokes, which plays a big factor into Joker's popularity, and even writers have teased at it. Marked canon / fanon divergence. While making the Joker a sympathetic character has been done before, a lot of fans make him far more pitiable and more of a victim than he is, despite the fact that even Batman breaks down his notion of how anyone can easily become insane. There's also a number of fans that play up his flirtatious, casual, and giddy demeanor, as well as make him younger looking, which ultimately makes him a more cute and endearing character and version to uwu softboy territory. This was mainly done by those who ship him with Batman. It got to the point where you wouldn't think he was a monster clown murderer that Batman would kill if it weren't for his moral code. Literization / fanon splintering. The Joker is well known for his multiple incarnations throughout media, and many have made them clash with one another. The Joker is well known for his multiple incarnations throughout media, and many have made them clash with one another, mainly his animated and film incarnations.